I think for me, design is really about the story. I think it's about the story of how you got there, the story of how it impacts other people's lives. I think it's the power to instill a certain kind of story in a lifeless object and give it life, and which all begins, again, with passion for what you're doing. I think I learned a lot about myself in the field school in a way that I've never learned it in school myself. Because I think it was the absence of control that enabled me to do such a thing. There were no briefs for the first time, and I wouldn't come into class and the professor would be like, okay, so you're making this for an interface design. You have to appreciate interface design in a week, you know. There was nothing of that sort. It was more of, you know, here's the city, try doing what you want to do, and, you know, make sure you learn something from it and think about, you know, your experiences along the way. So I think on a daily basis, sometimes I would go, what would I do on Sunday? Would I go to church without anybody telling me to? Would I do my chores? You know, would I just go out and get lost in downtown and talk to a complete stranger, and would anybody care about that? And because of all of these experiences that I had, I realized something about myself that I never learned to embrace before. For me, it's really hard to separate yourself from the way that you think, which is what design is all about. And just listening to, for example, Carlotta talk about light as, you know, a vital part of a person's life, about respect for culture and time, when in the end she was talking about her lamps, you know, or like William Sawaya when he was saying it's not about the chair, but the improvements that you make in your everyday life that count. You know, the chair is just a medium for you to experiment on how to improve your daily life. Design is, you know, it's about what you taste, what you touch, what you see, and how you reflect that back into society, you know, and how you make sense of all this nonsense that is around you, as what ... would say. I think out of all the interviews that we did in field, Matteo Ragni stands out for me as somebody I really admired. I remember just coming out of that interview and all I could say was, wow, I had no idea how great this guy is. Partly the story that stuck to me was his WI project, which is like the wooden iframes that he made. Because of that project, he practically saved an entire factory, and you know, it saved a lot of jobs for people, and these people were able to support their families still and continue putting food in their tables. And I think that's one aspect of design that a lot of people miss. It's that it doesn't stop at an object, but the impact that it actually creates all throughout its life. I think design as a social responsibility, it's something that I did not realize at the beginning, but after he mentioned it, it makes total sense, you know, because designers, for the most part, they're very humble, they're very generous people who just, you know, it's not about solving world issues for them. It's about creating small things with great love. And in the end, those things pay for itself, and eventually they might even solve the first world the world problems that you know they did not even mean to solve in the first place.